Hello traders, this is binaryoptions.net.au, and today we're going to teach you how to trade with the Donchian channels. So what are the Donchian channels? Donchian channels are lines set above and below the price of an asset. This indicator was developed by Richard Donchian, and it plots the highest high and the lowest low over the last periods. The Donchian channels are used to determine the current trend and to help you to get entries to trade the trend. So this indicator will help you to trade the main move. And this is how the indicator looks in a chart. As you can see, we have the upper line above the price of the asset and the lower channel below the price of the asset, and we have the middle line. So how do we read this indicator? This indicator can be used to identify tops and bottoms in a trend. This can be very useful because when identifying tops and bottoms, you will know when the market conditions are overbought and oversold. Unlike Bollinger Bands, a close at the upper channel shows extraordinary bull strength that can signal a strong uptrend. So if we have a close at the upper channel, this means that the bull pressure is extreme, and on the contrary, a close at the lower channel denotes an extreme bear pressure and can be signal of a downtrend. So unlike the Bollinger Bands that give you overbought and oversold conditions when a price closes above them, in this case with the Donchian channels, when price closes at the upper channel, you will look only to buy calls because we are in a strong uptrend. And on the contrary, when the candlesticks or price closes at the lower channel, it means that we are in a very strong downtrend. So here's an example. You can see that we are in a clear uptrend, right? And the price is closing at the top of or is closing at the upper channel of the Donchian channels. Here, here, and here. Here we have a correction, but here we close at the top of the Donchian channel, and here again. And on a downtrend, you can see that we are closing at the bottom or at the lower channel, 1, 2, 3, and you can see that the move down is very extreme. So this is how you use Donchian channels to spot the overall move of the market. Now let's go to the setups. The Donchian channel is a trend following indicator. Once we know price direction, we will only look to trade the trend, okay? If we see that price or the candlesticks are closing at the upper channel, we will only be looking to buy calls, and if price is closing at the lower channel, we will only be looking to buy puts, okay, on corrections. Now, a long setup in an uptrend, we will look for a correction below the middle line. Then we would look for a candlestick that closes below the middle line. If the next candlestick closes above the open of the previous candlestick, we have a signal to buy calls. This is very simple, okay? In an uptrend, price corrects, and when price closes below the middle line and then we have a bullish pattern, we can buy calls because that is a signal to enter at the bottom of the correction. On the contrary, on a bear setup, we will look for a downtrend and a correction, okay? When the candlestick closes below the middle line and the next bar closes below the previous candlestick open, we have a signal to buy puts. Let's see some examples so you can better understand what we're talking about. Here we are in a clear uptrend, okay? you can see that price is closing at the top or at the upper Donchian channel, and then we have a correction, and here we have a close below the middle line, and then the next candlestick makes a bullish engulfing pattern that gives us a signal to buy calls, and as you can see, price continues to the upside. Now on a downtrend, and this is a very steep downtrend, you have closes at the lower Donchian channel, and then we have a correction and a close above the middle line. The next candle gives us a bearish formation that signals a short setup, so we can buy puts on this asset, and as you can see, price continues to the downside. So it is very simple to use Donchian channels, but you have to be very careful on the setups that you choose to trade, because you might get some setups that are actually reversals. And well, why don't we go to the chart so we can better see what we're talking about? Okay, we're back, and this is the US dollar Japanese yen 1 hour chart. Okay, and as you can see, we are at the current price levels, and if you are day trading, you might not want to trade the 1 hour chart or analyze price action on the 1 hour chart, because if you analyze price action on the 1 hour chart, the setups might be a little bit longer, and you might want to choose higher expiration date. So let's go to the 50-minute chart. Okay, so this is the 50-minute chart on the USD Japanese yen, and as you can see here, we were in a clear uptrend before this correction to the downside. Okay, but let's focus on this side of the chart. We were on a clear down uptrend, and here we close below the middle line, and when we get a bullish engulfing, we have a setup or a signal to buy calls. We already saw this on the slides, so let's go back to see if we can get another setup on this massive uptrend that we have been on the USD Japanese yen. And as you can see here, we are in an uptrend, okay, in a clear uptrend. We have this low, we are making higher highs, and then we have a small correction to the downside, and here we have a close below the middle line, and then we have a blue candlestick that is actually an inverted pin bar that signals reversal. When this candlestick prints, we have a setup to buy calls, maybe on an hourly expiration or a 2-hour expiration, and we would have expire in the money on this trade. Okay, it is pretty simple to use Donchian channels. You only have to spot the main move or the trend. In this case, we are moving down because we are closing on the lower channel. We are closing on the lower channel, and here we make a correction up to the above the middle line. When we make a correction above the middle line and we have this dodgy candle and then this red candle, we have a setup to buy puts. And of course, we are analyzing price action on the 50-minute chart, so we might just choose a 2-hour expiration or an hourly expiration to give our trades some room to move before the actual dump. And as you can see, we would have expired in the money also in this trade, and it is very mechanical when you trade with Donchian channels, because the only setups that you will look for are corrections above the middle line on a downtrend, and then bearish patterns that give you signal to buy puts. In this case, we didn't have one. And in uptrends, we will look for corrections to below the middle line and bullish patterns, or to give us a signal to buy calls. Here, for example, this is a very interesting setup. We are in a downtrend, okay? Then we have a small correction to the upside, but this candle did not close above the middle line. So this is an invalid setup. But when we have this candle that is actually a pin bar, an inverted pin bar, because we have a huge wick to the upside, we have a clear setup to buy puts on the US dollar, Japanese yen, and we can choose to trade the hourly expiration options that would have ended up in the money. Basically, you just have to look for strong moves to the upside or the downside and corrections below or above the middle line, and bullish or bearish patterns that gives you the signals to buy your binary options. Let's go to another currency pair to see if we can actually find another other setups. Okay, now this is cable, the GBP USD, and as you can see, we are in a downtrend. And of course, there's some traders that use the middle line as support or resistance to trade, but with this strategy, you want a close above, in a downtrend, a close above the middle line, and in an uptrend, a close below the middle line. This is because we actually want to see a push, a bullish push that is undertaken by the overall bearish push, and when we have this correction, it could mean that traders that were short here took profits here, and that made price move a little bit up, and that is our area to go short. This is not a setup because even though price closed above the middle line, we don't have a bearish pattern to go short or to buy puts on the British pound US dollar. But when we have a wick to the upside here, and an inverted pin bar, and then we have a massive bear candle, we can buy puts right here. And as you can see, the option would have expired in the money. So the thing about this is that you need to find true setups, okay? You need to find clear breaks above, in a downtrend, clear breaks above, and then a push below, okay? You need to see that there is a bullish correction, but a bearish setup for you to be able to buy your options, okay? Let's go back and see if we can actually find another setup. Here, for instance, we are in a clear up move, but we don't have a setup to get on the move or trade the trend because price did not come below or did not close below the middle line. You need a kind of a deep correction, because if you want to, I mean, if you see a move this strong to the upside and just buy calls or call options in the middle, you can get faked out and expired out of the money. And let's go to the to another time frame, to the 1 hour time frame, okay, to see if we can have setups to buy higher expiries. And this is what's cool about the Donchian channels. Just check this out. We are moving up, okay? You can see that we are making higher lows and higher highs. So this is an uptrend. And here we have a close below the middle line, okay, on the 1 hour chart. And then you have a ton of you have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles that rejected this area, okay. And when this candle moves all the way up these highs, you have an entry or a signal to buy calls. And because we are trading the or we are analyzing price action on the 1 hour chart, you can choose to trade end of day expirations that would have yield a profit. So this is how you trade with the Donchian channels, and you have to look for the best setups and the highest uh, probability entries for you to be able to profit with the Donchian channels.